What's happening, guys, and welcome to The Real Outdoors. If you're new here, I do videos about the outdoors, camping, backpacking, hiking, even some hunting videos, because that's what I'm passionate about and that's what I love. Click that red subscribe button if these are the types of videos that you're interested in. I will always be updating with outdoor product reviews, videos, vlogs of my hunts, videos and vlogs of my outdoor adventures, and some tips and tricks along the way. Today, I am going to talk to you about what I pack in my backpack for a 2-day backpacking trip. I'm leaving today for a 2-day backpacking trip in the Ocala National Forest, so I thought it would be a good time to share with you what I'm packing for. It really doesn't change too much if I go more days, other than it's just more food and maybe 1 or 2 more outfits. But really that's about it. Otherwise, whether it's 2 days or 12 days, I'm packing pretty much the same thing. I'm going to start with the backpack itself. So I use an Osprey Atmos 65 AG. It's a little bit heavy of a pack, coming in at almost 5 pounds just for the pack empty, but it's a very comfortable pack. I used it at Philmont for that hike, 12 days in the New Mexico Rocky Mountains, over 100 miles of hiking, had no issues with it at all. It was very comfortable. It never felt heavy on my back. You know, I'm a 40-something-year-old man, and I really had no issues carrying this pack. So I thought about maybe going to a lighter pack, maybe a DCF pack or something like that, or a grid fabric pack that weighs a lot less. But I didn't have any issues with it, so I don't see the point in spending a bunch of money on a new pack just to lose weight when this one worked just fine. No issues. As always, I'll put links to all these products in the description below. Please keep in mind they may be affiliate links, and I would get a small commission if you were to purchase something through those links. Let's start talking about what I packed for this weekend's 2-night backpacking trip. We'll start on the outside of the pack and kind of move our way in. On the outside here, I have a Moonlance backpacking chair. This backpacking chair weighs right at 2 pounds, so it's about twice as heavy as the lightest backpacking chair out there. On multi-day trips like Philmont, I didn't take this with me. I probably wouldn't take it on more multi-day trips. I'm okay just sitting on the ground or sitting on a sleep pad or something like that. It is a nice creature comfort, and with only 2 days, and we're only hiking about 8 miles, so I felt like that's a creature comfort I want to take with me on this backpacking trip. And I just strap that to the outside of my pack. Nice and easy. I don't have to try and shove it inside or anything like that. So that goes right on the outside, comes off real easy, ready to take a break when we get to the end of the trail. Also on the outside, I like this big mesh pocket that we have with the Osprey packs. So in there, I've got this CNOC or Knock Outdoors 2-liter bladder. I really like this bladder because I can take this top piece off, roll it out. It has a nice big wide opening for getting water in there, scooping water out of your water sources if you need. You can attach it to a Sawyer water filter if you want down here at the end. This is the way I like to carry multiple liters of water, is in a bag like this. I've used the Platypus ones. They work really well. I don't like to get too carried away with a lot of water bottles. This works really well for adding 2 liters to the water that you're carrying. So I keep that right on the outside where it's easy to get to, easy to grab, ready to go. Also on the outside here where it's easy to grasp, I keep my rain jacket. This is just like a $35 rain jacket I got from Amazon. I'll put the link down in the description. I really don't remember the name. I think it's White Rain or something like that. It's worked really well for me. As you can see, it folds up into its own pocket. Just keep that back here so it's easy to grab if it starts raining. Out here on both sides, I have 2 Nalgene water bottles. Again, I know they're heavy, but they work. The one thing I like about these over the Smart water bottles is that I can attach carabiners to this right here. I do paracord it. Here, you can see how I paracord that little cap leash. That just protects that plastic. I also have it up underneath the cap so that it protects and keeps that part from popping off the top of the cap, because that tends to happen with these Nalgenes. Like I said, I know they're heavy, but then I can put a carabiner on here, put it on my front shoulder strap, and always have a water bottle right there, easy to grab. It's a little harder to do with the Smart water bottle. You can do it with a paracord knot and kind of create a loop. It's just more work. I like the Nalgene's. They work fine. I'm not an ultralight backpacker. I'm not trying to be an ultralight backpacker. So it works fine for me. Start working our way from top to bottom. Up here in your little brain area, first pocket, I've got a little Osprey day pack. This thing packs up super small, weighs absolutely nothing. So for example, I use this for summit day at Baldy Mountain in Philmont. Great for little things like that, just little quick out and back trips, so you don't have to carry your whole pack. I just like having that with me for that. Also, I have my rain cover up here in the brain, so it's easy to grab and throw over the top of the backpack. I have lashing straps. Not really sure why I have these in here. I could probably let them go. This was on the packing list for Philmont, so I threw it in there. Really, I guess if you run out of space and you need to strap things to your pack, you have it. I've never needed it. It's still got the rubber band around it, as you can see, so it's there, weighs nothing. I don't know, it was on the list. Another lashing strap, and my compass, just a cheap compass. You know, I actually use my watch, my Garmin Fenix, for navigation for the most part. I've also got the Gaia Maps app on my smartphone, and then always got a backup old school compass. I like the redundancy, don't want to get lost in the backcountry, so there you go. Next pocket. Up here I don't have a whole lot. I've got a buff. I've always got a buff. It's actually not a buff. This is a Salt Armor face shield. I like them better. They're a little tighter, so they stay on your face when you pull them up over your face. But I always have multiples of these. They have so many uses. So I'll use one of these as kind of a handkerchief, always keep it in my pocket. I use it to cover my neck and my face, shield it from the sun, especially on Florida hikes. That sun will kill you down here. So it's nice to have that to cover you up and give you a little additional sun protection. I've used it as a hat on my Northern Tier trip and my sea base trips. There's so many uses for this. You can use it to clean up like a towel if you want. But on that note, I also have a backpacking towel, and there's another buff. Like I said, I have several of them. Little backpack camping towel. I just take one of those with me. This one's actually, it's not super big. So there it is, full size. But that's big enough, especially with the extra absorbency of these camp towels, that I could use this for a shower if I absolutely needed to. But it's also small enough that I could use it just for cleaning up or a washcloth. It's a great middle size. So, got that in there. Let's get into the meat of the pack. Just flip this brain back. I have this carabiner on here, attached to the outside. This is a locking, weight-bearing carabiner. This is what I use for my bear bags. Used it at Philmont. We are going to be in the Ocala National Forest, which does have a lot of bears, so we will be using bear bags this weekend. Although I'm going to try the PCT method, which you still need a carabiner. I don't think it needs to be quite as weight-bearing. Philmont, we put a lot of weight into our bear bags, so you needed to have a pretty heavy-duty carabiner. I'm just leaving it attached here so that I have that when we do bear bags this weekend. All right, start out with food. I really like the way Philmont did their food, so that's the way I did mine. I've got a lunch, a breakfast, a dinner, and they're each in their own Ziploc bag, so I can keep them separated. So that makes it easy when I do the bear bags. I'm eating this meal, these 3 meals, into the bear bag. Nice and simple, already organized. Mostly waterproof because it's a Ziploc bag. Nice and simple. Keep it simple, stupid. So that's what I'm doing there with my food. To cook my food, I'm taking a big fuel canister this weekend. I just really don't want to run out. I don't care about the weight. It's a short hike. It's only 2 nights. So I took a fairly big fuel canister. Normally I take one that fits inside of my Stanley Cook Pot. I love the Stanley Cook Pot. I'd kind of like to switch to a titanium one. I've looked at them a few times. Maybe would have done that if I had it to do over, but for 12 bucks for this Stanley Cook pot, you really can't go wrong. It is a little heavy, probably not enough for me to notice. I like the top has a strainer on it if you want to strain pasta or ramen noodles or something like that. Never really used it, but it is nice to have the cover when you're boiling your coffee for the morning. Helps it boil just a little bit faster if you have it covered up. Inside of that, I have my stove. I don't get too fancy. This is an E-Tech City stove that screws right on top of my fuel canister. Already has an igniter switch. Of course, on my person with my EDC, I always carry a lighter, so if that igniter switch doesn't work or breaks, I still have a lighter as a backup. 1 is none, 2 is 1. And these just swing out. And there's your fuel adjuster there. That's pretty much all there is to that stove. Super basic. I know it's not like a fancy Jetboil or anything like that, but this cost me $13. Actually, I think it cost me $5. I bought them years ago. Now they're up to $13 a piece on Amazon, and that's Prime. So 13 bucks shipped to your house. It's a lot less than a Jetboil, works just fine. I've actually done a boil-off type of competition with somebody who has a Jetboil. I'm like 10 seconds behind boiling 2 cups of water with this versus a Jetboil. So, I mean, I'm not sure that's really worth the extra. Jetboils are nice. Maybe that's something you guys like. Let me know down in the comments. But for 13 bucks, as much as I backpack, or as little as I backpack, as I should say, this works just fine. Fits inside of my Stanley Cup. If I was using the smaller fuel canister, it would actually fit inside of my Stanley pot. And then my entire cook kit is right there. That would be it if I was using the smaller fuel canister. I just want to make sure I don't run out of fuel for the weekend. I'm not going to get into this, but because we're going with the Boy Scouts, this is our troop backpacking first aid kit. I will actually be losing this, giving it to the Wilderness First Aid Assistant Scoutmaster who is going to Philmont next summer with the troop. This is just my personal one. This is what I took to Philmont, and so I'm just bringing it to him so he has this to carry and kind of get used to the weight and see how it works and maybe take a look at the items inside. But I'm not going to break it out and get all into exactly what I took. We can maybe do that in another video and I can show you what I took in my Wilderness First Aid kit for Philmont. These are my clothes. That's it. This includes my sleep clothes. It includes a hat if I want that overnight. It's supposed to only get down into the 60s, so I should be playing warm, shouldn't need the hat, but I always bring it with me just in case. I think I may even have another buff in here. But I really only have one change of clothes. I've got one extra pair of socks in here, just to make sure that I'm not getting blisters or anything like that. But that's pretty much it. All my clothes. And that's the top compartment. So, let's check out the bottom. This is where I always keep my sleep system. It's just nice and convenient because when I get to camp and I want to set up my sleep system and everything, it's all right here in this bottom compartment. So I just keep it down here, nice and easy, one zip, and I'm into my sleeping system. This is my puffy jacket, so this serves multiple purposes, and that's part of the reason I take this. And like I say, it's part of my sleep system. So this shoves into this. This is an old pillowcase from one of the blow-up pillows. This is a Cocoon brand. There's the Sea to Summit brand that's very similar, but Cocoon's about half the price, so that's what I got. I used it for like 2 years, and midway through Philmont, the inner bag that you blow up got a hole in it and wouldn't stay pumped up overnight. So it's got a zipper here on the side. You can see it opens up. And what I did is I took my puffy jacket, shoved it inside the pillowcase itself, and it's like I have a down pillow. I already have the puffy jacket with me because that's my outer layer in case I get cold. I just shove it in there. There's my pillow. I'm not even going to worry about going to buy a new one or fixing the airbag that was inside. I just chucked that. So that's my pillow. And warmth if I need it. So there's that. This is actually a new sleeping pad that I got about a month ago. And so I'm going to be trying it out for the first time this weekend. It's the Outdoorsman's Lab sleeping pad. It's a budget, lightweight sleeping pad. It gets really good reviews on Outdoor Gear Lab, and it's like 40 bucks. So I figured I'd give it a shot. Last year at Philmont, I used a closed cell foam pad because I was afraid of having it puncture. After going and seeing that there really weren't any issues with the people who had the blow up air pads as far as puncturing, I decided to go with an air pad this year. Weighs 16 ounces, very, very small. I can almost fit this inside of an Nalgene. It's pretty close. So we'll give that a shot this weekend and see how it goes. This is my bear bag setup. I just had a space for it down here, so that's where I threw it. I've got a throw bag in there and the rope for the bear bag for this weekend. Toilet kit. I think we're going to have toilets at the campsite, but I'm not 100% sure. Never want to be without the toilet kit. So, just got a little fold-up trowel and some toilet paper in there. I have my tarp tent that I just reviewed. I'll put a link up there in the eye in the sky so you can check that review up about my tarp tent Pro Trail. I'm going to try it without a ground cloth. I actually heard from Tarp Tent on my tarp tent review video that I don't need the ground cloth, so I'm not bringing it. And this thing feels like it weighs nothing. I love it without the ground cloth. I also don't have the poles in there. I'm going to be using my trekking poles that I always take with me on a hike anyway. I mean, this is so cool. I love it. And look how tiny it can pack down. Tiny. So that's awesome. And lastly is my top quilt from Enlightened Equipment. Absolutely love this thing. Like I said, it's only supposed to get down to 60, maybe 65. One of the nights maybe even in the 70s. I'm still taking my Enlightened Equipment top quilt. Absolutely love this thing. Never going to go anywhere without it. Funny story, I actually went to Northern Tier and didn't bring this. It got down into the 40s and my bag was only rated to 45. I had a Snug Pack jungle bag that I took to Northern Tier with me. And I froze the night it got into the 40s. I didn't sleep, it was miserable. I got home and I actually put my Enlightened Equipment top quilt into the stuff sack for my Snug Pack jungle blanket, and it fit. I could have taken this, it would have taken up the same amount of space. It actually weighs less than the Snug Pack jungle blanket. I was kicking myself, so I will never not take my Enlightened Equipment top quilt with me. It's always going to be one of the essentials that goes with me. That's it. That's all I'm bringing to a 2-night camp out. The only other thing is I do have little water purifiers just in case. We're supposed to have potable water along the way, but I'll bring that just in case. But that's pretty much it. That is my kit for a 2-night backpacking trip. Hope you guys got something out of the video. Maybe you picked up on a couple pieces of equipment or gear that you want to try out. Give this video a like, really appreciate it, and hit that subscribe button so you can get more from the Real Outdoors. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. We are in campsite number 3. We had a short day today because it's really nasty outside. Even the kayak, or the canoe paddle over here was pretty rough. But we found ourselves a good little island to camp on for the night. And then tomorrow we have a long paddle.